Hi kids, welcome to Terry on Tuesday, brought to you this week by Super High Up Camera. I thought I'd try to do it slightly differently so you can I can look up and see what I'm doing. You can also look down onto the table and see what I'm talking about. I must apologise for the washing machine. Had to be done. I don't do my washing very often, but it has to be done when it has to be done, you know what I mean? Okay, so we're back on the ANDOR build, and what have I done since you last saw me? Well, do you remember these, what we'll call the legs that would swivel? They had some weird sort of edges to them, where obviously I was cutting the corners, but I've taken my small sander to them, and now we've got nice rounded edges on all of them. So I've done all of those, all 12 of them. And I finished assembling these long pieces, which are to go around the parts that we shall call snowboards. Now, I would normally insist on fixing these somehow while they're gluing. Talking of glue, I usually use this, which is industrial strength super glue, which is great stuff and easy to get hold of locally. But I decided to push the boat out and buy Zappa Gap. It's a bit more expensive. You can get it on eBay or Amazon, whatever. Used to use it a lot for stormtrooper suits. It's a CA glue, similar to this, but I've always found this to be the business, the governor of super glues, and it's great on EVA foam. I used this many years ago, and it is great for that. So like I say, a bit more expensive, but worth using. Now, in order to fit the curved bits around the snowboards, something like that, I need to hold them in place. So I've decided to go for a twofold approach. One is to use little spare blocks of EVA foam, and I've got lots of offcuts. Remember one of my sayings, which isn't my saying, but use every bit of the buffalo. There's a load of spare parts left over from the cutting, as are all of these. Now these pieces, I'll chuck them all here because there are many. I think there must be at least 24 of these, if my maths is right. And those things came off of these. Remember, we cut them off either side. I was going to throw these, or at least use them for something else, and then I realized what I can use them for is when it comes to sticking the piece all the way around this one. Remember this awkward curve I was worried about last time? Well, I can use these opposite edges because the curve matches that. So when I'm bending the foam around to match this curve, this will help support that curve and keep it in place. So that's very handy. I get some of my best ideas when I'm lying in bed at night, unable to sleep, thinking about stuff. So that was a half asleep idea, which will be great. So I'm not looking forward to doing these. Total transparency there, but it's all got to be done at some point. Now, the other method of holding things in place is pinning them. If it was thinner foam, I'd use those little drafting pins. You know, the ones that like I was using to do the curves? Just little plastic headed pins. They're great, but because this is 10mm thick, we have to go with tiny nails. I've got some 1-inch nails here, and I think they'll be fine. So basically the plan is to bend this around. Because it's such a long piece, I don't need to heat it up or anything. Just get it in the right position and pin it from the outside into there. Now, it's going to be tricky. So, I think we'll cut to a slightly better close-up for this. Yes, we'll do that. And then we'll go into super high-speed mode, just so you can see it come together a bit quicker, okay? Okay, let's get on with it. Okay, so we cut there, and I'll tell you for why. Because that was really, really, really fiddly to do. Without a second pair of hands, you've got to try and hold these two large pieces at 90 degrees, flush to the edge, which is in darkness there, and bend it around and put nails in and etc. But I've started off, I've got two blocks, two tiny little blocks there of wastage, and that's holding that in the middle there. Now the plan is to bend it all the way around, put two more blocks on this side, and then glue blocks on the inside and make sure everything's lined up and flush to the edge of the snowboard. Yeah, so my plan of actually showing you all this on camera was impossible because I was just basically wrestling with it for the last 5 minutes. But now I think I'm going to crack on with this one and hopefully show you what it's like when it's all together.
A few minutes later.
Sorry about the light coming in from the window, it puts everything else in darkness, but with a bit of trial and error, it seems to have worked. My idea of pinning it with the nails did not work, however. It's too fiddly unless you've got an extra pair of hands. But the blocks, as you can see, all the way up there, and I put a long one in the middle of the curve there, works quite well. So I did put a bit of tape there to hold it as I was gluing it. But I did sing that song, that one that goes, "Oh no, oh no," quite a few times, because every time I squeezed this down onto there, the glue would run onto my table. I could put newspaper down, but that would involve common sense, which I don't have a lot of, as you know.
I'm an idiot. Okay.
But it's getting there. So that's 1 out of 6. I don't know how many of these I'm going to be able to do today, but this weekend I'll try and get all 6 done if at all possible. And then all I have to do then is pop the other side up on here. Blimey. I must be mad. Oh, hello. So, here we go. Done 2 ends. Still waiting for that to dry properly, but as you can see now, put that on another one of these. I just realised something. I do not stick one of these on the bottom because once I've made 3 of these, it's got to be folded something like that. Can you see? See, to make a sort of part of the Y shape. Yeah, it's very fiddly. And in fact, as I come to think of it, I don't stick both ends to it like that. You see, I have to bend this one as well to fit onto a third one. So, yeah, once you see the picture, where's my bit of paper? Where's my reference paper? Here it is. Here it is. So as you can see here, where's the pen or the pointer? That'll do. The long sides, the snowboards I'm calling them, they go from here down to the middle and back up to that one. And again, another snowboard goes from there down to the middle and down to that one. So it all joins together into the giant Y shape. So I think I need to do another one of these and assemble this Y shape. It's going to be fiddly. We shall carry on this weekend with it, and hopefully in the next clip you'll see where I've got to.
A few alcoholic drinks later.
Alrighty then, it's Sunday morning. Well, it's not. It's actually Sunday afternoon. But for me, I just got out of bed because I've got a bit of a hangover. Not a good idea. So, been doing a little bit more work. And as you can kind of see, apologies for the darkness of the shot, you can see the Y shape coming together now. Obviously, I've got to glue this flat piece here onto the top and do the same with the flat piece down here, join that to that, and then we'll have our big Y piece. Obviously I've got shapes to go in the middle, and then the legs go on all 3 gaps in between the forks, and then we've got the second set of sticky outy bits will be in there, but there'll be 3 separate chunks that have to go on. So I'm going to keep going today. the next clip will either be the end credits, which means I didn't get much done, or one more clip, and we'll continue. On program. Welcome to this extremely low viewpoint. As you can see now, I have my Y shape. My Y shape is good. It's reasonably sturdy. Yeah, let me change the camera angle because this is terrible. Slightly better. Okay, so here's my big Y shape. I decided to strengthen the inside with these 3 bits here, which were made by cutting a little piece like that and chopping a 120-degree angle. Let's over there so you can see it. 120-degree angle. How did I find a 120-degree angle? I cheated. I literally put the piece of foam underneath the drawing here, and as you can see, I traced it using a scalpel straight onto the foam, because no matter how big the drawing, the angle will still be 120 degrees. You see what I mean? Anyway, so I made 6 of these, popped them in there like that, and another 3 down the bottom there. So now we have a reasonably sturdy Y shape. So I can I'm going to change the camera angle again. So here we have it. This is our main shape. It's rather big. And then the other 3 will go in the big gaps. And the poor human who has to wear this thing, will kind of wear it like that. Now, I'm going to, as I said before, I'm going to have to cut chunks of this out in order to sort of make it fit the person a bit better. But you know, it's dawned on me that had I sat down and planned this for about a week in advance, I might have been able to make it in a way that I don't have to cut any of it away. I just pop it straight onto the person. But I want it to look as good as possible to the real thing. I've got no idea if it's the actual size of the prop in the TV show, but it's pretty good. It's pretty there. I mean, it's got when we've got the legs sticking out there and the other 3 sections, it'll be pretty big. I've no idea how I'm going to get it down to London, something this big, but we'll work on that again. Now, when it's all assembled and I cut chunks of it out in order to fit someone to wear it, admittedly there will be a lot of wastage from the bits I've cut out, which is kind of regrettable, but I think what I'll try and do is cut out whatever I've cut out, keep it intact. So make as few, I'm going to be ripping stuff out, just make as few cuts as possible, so that once the event is over, all the bits that I've cut out can go back on, glued into place, a little bit of painting, and you'll have, you know, a replica of the entire prop. Now currently this weighs not a lot. I'd say a kilo, maybe less. What's a kilo? A kilo is 2 pounds in America, but also in the UK, a bag of sugar, when it's full, weighs 1 kilo. Rule Britannia. 1 kilo or 2 pounds. And I know this is not, you know, is that the same weight as a bag of sugar? I'm not sure it is. I'm going to have to check this out. Also, a kilo is 1 litre of water. Isn't the metric system great, kids? A litre is a kilo, is a bag of sugar. It's great. I don't believe this is a kilo in weight, which is one of the amazing things about EVA foam. It's tough, it's easy to cut, it's easy to use, it's a bit fiddly in places, but I think once this has had a good sanding all over and a paint job, I think it'll be great. I think it'll be great. Like I say, this is my first big foam project, and it's giving me a lot of ideas and a lot of sort of practice for doing stuff with foam in future. So maybe some more foam stuff coming up. Anyway, I think that's all we're going to have for this week. I'm pretty much done. I'm reasonably tired and dehydrated, as you can imagine. not a lot to do on these. Obviously I've got to make the front and back bits here and some detail parts. I may have to start cutting out some squares, 2 on each piece, because they are indented detail. Either that or I'll cut some very thin sheets and pop them on the top so we've got the indented detail the same. Anyway, that's it for this week. I know it's been a weird one. Not so much show, but more tell. But anyway, I will see you next week, either with more of this or something completely different. Take care now. Bye bye then.